Welcome to Tower Talk Business Radio on the voice of Nassau Community College 90.3 WHPC. Tower Talk Business Radio brings you conversations with the top business minds on Long Island and around the nation, including expert consultants and small business owners who have found success, but are also willing to share their top tips, failures, and give gritty, matter-of-fact advice based on their first-hand experience. And now, let's get down to business with Tower Talk Business Radio, powered by the Nassau Community College Foundation.
Hello and welcome to Tower Talk Business Radio, powered by the Nassau Community College Foundation. My name is Ray Schwetz, AVP of Nephew Business Banking, along with Denisha Boston Hill, CEO, keeper of the brand marketing and digital agency, and we're focused on being the premier resource for business and entrepreneurship. Denisha and I will bring you weekly business advice, tips, tools, and services that help you grow your business. Plus, we interview the top leaders in the industry. So today we've got a really special guest. Her focus is on elder law and retirement and planning for the aging, which is difficult stuff. Helping provide us with business empowerment today is our guest, Donna Stefans of the Stefans Law Group. Now, Donna has over 18 years experience in elder law, estate planning, retirement, income planning, income tax, asset management, and capital investment. That's a lot. Giving her the ability to create and maintain holistic life care plans for her clients from birth to legacy. She started when she was 2. Ms. Stefans is also the president of Summit Tax Advisors Incorporated, a full-service personal business, trust accounting, income tax, and consulting practice. Additionally, she is also a member of the board of directors on the Long Island chapter of the Alzheimer's Association, a board member of Horseability, and vice chairwoman of the New York State Bar Association Financial Planning and Investment Committee. So that's a lot. You're a very busy lady, Donna. Welcome to the show today. Thank you for coming on board.
Good morning. Thank you, Ray.
So, how'd you get started with all this? I mean, I don't know. Did you go to law school? Just think, this is what I'm getting into. I'm getting into elder law planning.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
This was not on my mind.
No.
Truthfully, when I was in high school, and many people, guidance counselors and parents and friends say, "So, what do you want to be when you grow up?"
Yep.
I thought I wanted to be on Broadway.
Okay. I could see that.
And
you do well with that.
I love being with people, but in thinking, my mother, Marilyn, she had created a very successful financial planning and income tax practice.
Okay.
So I thought, it would be great to be in practice with my mother, and I like this business. I'm good with numbers and people, so I set my goals to get my finance degree, my broker's licenses to do investments, worked on Wall Street for a few years. And then I got a call from her one day.
Okay.
And she said, I think we need to round out our practice. And the one thing when we're meeting with clients is I don't have an expert on staff or around here to talk about estate planning and elder law, and it comes up in every meeting because it really rounds out all the parts of your financial life.
Right.
So would you like to be that attorney?
That does everything.
So I said, okay, I'll go to law school, but to do estate planning. And that's been the focus, not to be in the courtroom, not to do personal injury work. There are experts for that. But financial planning and holistic life planning really was the goal. When I got there, I realized not only estate planning and thinking about what happens if I passed away is important, or what happens when I passed away is important, but really what's more important is what happens while we're here.
Right.
And nobody wants to think about what happens if I got in a car accident, what happens if I received an Alzheimer's diagnosis. What do I do? Nobody wants to think about that. But when those awful things happen, we need to be prepared. So elder care planning really became what morphed out of my law school experience. And the combination of life care planning while we're here being just as important, if not more important, than what happens when we pass away.
Yeah, I agree, because I think a lot of people, they think of, I need life insurance. It's on their mind. It's part of their plan. It's, well, what happens to me if I'm not here? My thing is, I've got 3 daughters, so I think about, well, what if I'm here and I'm lingering? And that sounds horrible to say it that way, but really, truthfully, what if I'm here and I'm not doing well and I need people to take care of me? What happens then?
Right. So when I meet with people, they most of the time think I need a will. I need to make sure that my kids are protected if I passed away. Who's going to take care of them? And do I have enough money to take care of them? But the reality is exactly what you're saying, that I care more about you while you're here. Right. Because if you're here and nobody can take care of you with your healthcare matters, and nobody's appointed to handle your financial affairs, then nobody else can help take care of your family either.
Right.
And the last thing you want is for a judge to decide who's going to take care of you and who's going to take care of your family.
Gotcha. Now, there are other folks that do what you do, but you have some differentiators, and through our conversations, I've gotten a sense of that. I'd like to share that with the folks who are listening out there. What is your differentiator?
Well, I think because I come from a educational and practice of accounting and financial planning, my law practice really encompasses all parts of your life. Not only are we all concerned about the tax ramifications of what we do and what do we do with what we have, but how does your future planning and the sunset of your life planning meet the expectations and needs of what you have today? So when I meet with a client, my head can really understand what they have at the table. And I never want to be the person to say, I'm sorry, I can't tell you the tax ramifications of what we're doing here today. You'll have to go talk to somebody else.
Right.
So in my mind, it is as if I can think through every situation and how it's going to play out legally and the cost of what may happen and how to protect against those costs. Because frankly, long-term care is extremely expensive.
Yes.
For incapacity and custodial care at home or elsewhere.
So it's kind of like a choose your own adventure, but the financial version of that, and where does that go? And you think of each of those endings and how to prepare for those.
Correct.
That's pretty cool. You are listening to Tower Talk Business Radio on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. I'm Ray Schwetz, along with Denisha Boston Hill, and our guest today is Donna Stefans of Stefans Law Group. So, Donna, you have a pretty cool I don't know if it's called a program, a pretty cool initiative, but you have something called the Fab Four, and I'd like to talk a little bit about that. I know it's not the Beatles. I'm a Beatles fan, but this is a different Fab Four. So tell us about your Fab Four.
Okay, well, I do like the Beatles,
Good.
And I love to sing, so
then we can get along.
We can make this musical. However, let's face it, estate planning is not exactly the exciting, fun thing we want to do on our day off. No.
I wake up every morning thinking, yes.
Right. I mean, I try to have things in my office like candy and, toys for the kids, but no,
Okay.
it's not. Reality is, every once in a while, people think, what happens if something happens to me? And, that stress goes into your head, and then you walk away from it because you don't want to think about it.
Right.
Reality is, people don't plan to fail in the success and legacy of their life. They just, forget to plan.
Right.
Or fail to plan. So the Fabulous Four are the basic documents in estate planning and life care planning that you can utilize to cover all the bases if something happens to you, whether you became disabled or pass away. So the Fabulous Four specifically are your last will and testament for when you pass away, possibly the use of trusts, whether they be lifetime revocable or irrevocable. There's many many types that people have heard about. And then even more importantly, I stress the documents if you are here and you need help.
Okay.
So we call those advanced directives. And those are the power of attorney, appointing somebody to handle your financial affairs if you cannot do so yourself. And the healthcare proxy, which is appointing someone to handle your medical decisions if you cannot do so yourself, along with a living will, which is the end-of-life decision-making document. And that document is really a document of a statement by you as to what would happen and how you would like things to go if you were in a terminal position and on life support, basically.
Right.
So those three documents, power of attorney, healthcare proxy, living will, gives you control over your life when you may be in a position that you're not able to control things, to make sure your bills are paid, maybe to protect your assets if you really need long-term care, and making the right medical choices for yourself if you can't say so.
Right. Now, you alluded to something before, and I think that's what resonates with me, which is, again, and I think about it just in my personal situation with having a wife and 3 daughters, so I don't want them to have to worry about stuff if I'm not doing well. If it's already accounted for, if there's already a plan that's put in place, it's just simply following the plan. So they can worry about other things, or they can at least be at ease about that. They don't have to worry about that.
They have the tools available to help you.
Right.
And putting it in writing, as you're saying, gives them the roadmap of what to do and how to do it. Now, I truly believe that just having the documents isn't necessarily enough when you are in the crisis, because it is quite a process to help somebody get the care they need. There's landmines along the way and many different professionals and paperwork and evaluations that you have to deal with. So it's not a fun time. It's stressful. It's emotional. And really, truly working with an elder law attorney to help guide you through that process makes the entire situation 50 times easier.
Gotcha. Now, tell me a little bit about what you do, how it impacts somebody, or maybe you can tell us a story. You don't have to, name names or anything, but maybe you can tell us a story about how you work with someone and what your services did for them. So, there are so many stories because working with my clients, that's what we do. We come in not only in the planning stage, but in the emergency situations. The crisis has happened. What do we do? Yeah. We have to have the starting point. And it comes down to anything from, healthcare decisions. I think that's the biggest one that I get. Clients call. Yeah. They don't know what to do. And I can take them through processes. So, for example, I had a client that their father had an aneurysm the size of a grapefruit in their stomach. Oh, wow.
The client was 90 years old.
Okay.
And so the doctor said, we need to do this or he's going to die.
Right.
And the family had to say, what do we do? I said, well, what does your father want? What does he want? You discussed this. He put it in writing. Does it make sense to take the risk?
Right.
Now, I won't tell somebody what to do. I'm not a doctor. But I give them the frame of mind to make the right decisions for them. And just simply having the healthcare proxy, having the power to help their family is huge in a life-altering situation. So giving them the power to make their own decisions. Ultimately, in that situation, they did not do the operation, and he lived a peaceful life for the rest of his life, which was, another year of a happy life. Right.
As opposed to going through all that pain and then, right.
And not what he wanted.
Right. Even more importantly. And that's a great example because it really does show how the parameters were already set for that decision to be made and made according to his wishes. Right. You are listening to Tower Talk Business Radio. Our guest today is Donna Stefans of Stefans Law Group My name is Ray Schwetz, along with Denisha Boston Hill, and on the voice of Nass Community College 90.3 WHPC.
Hey, is that a faucet running?
Nope, that's not a faucet. That's a river rushing through the forest.
It is?
Yeah, forest rivers provide over 100 million people with clean water to drink. The water comes straight from the forest to us. In fact...
What? I can't hear you because of the vacuum.
That's not a vacuum. That's the trees in the forest cleaning up the air we breathe.
How do trees clean the air?
They soak up the dirty air on their leaves, branches, and trunks, which means clean air for us.
Cool. I didn't know that.
Yep, but the forest does more than give us clean air and water. It gives us shade for hot days, birds to listen to, and trees to climb.
Wow, that's awesome. I didn't know how cool the forest could be. Hey, let's go explore some more.
Visit the forest today and enjoy all it does, just for you. To learn more about the forest and find one near you, go to discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
And welcome back to Tower Talk Business Radio. You are listening to Tower Talk Business Radio on the voice of Nass Community College 90.3 WHPC. I'm Ray Schwetz, along with Denisha Boston Hill. Our guest today is Donna Stefans of Stefans Law Group. So you gave us some really great examples of how the Fab Four go into play, and you told us about how your services have made an impact. Now, when is it that people generally would contact you? Because I get the sense that it's probably more often it's a crisis. There's a call to action. When is the best time to engage somebody like you?
Truthfully, we help people plan from birth to legacy. And it depends on when you want to think about it. Anybody over 18 should have the advanced directives, should have the power of attorney, healthcare proxy, living will. Because once you're 18, you're an adult. However, most people at 18 are not thinking about their demise or what might happen to them in this way.
Right.
People really start thinking about it, or should start thinking about it, at the very least, when they get married and start having children, because you need to protect those children.
Right.
Guardianship of your children. Who would raise them? Who would take them in as your own if you passed away? That's a daunting question for people. And many people do not have great choices. So, but talking about that, especially even harder, are families that we speak to who have children with special needs.
Okay.
It can be very challenging if thinking about somebody changing their life to take care of your child that has even bigger challenges than the average 13-year-old.
Right. Now, what sort of things do you do for that? Because, I would imagine that's a whole different ballgame.
Right. So, in the younger years, and even in the older years, one of the things I talk about is a letter of intent.
Okay.
And writing down for yourself, if I was not here, a instruction manual saying, if I'm not here, these are the goals and wishes that I have for my child. These are things that you should know, the likes, the dislikes, the professionals they should see or not see, and how, if you had the option to see them through their adulthood, what would it look like? Those are the first things for yourself to write down. Save it in a PDF somewhere.
Gotcha.
However, guardianship is huge. The last thing you want is a judge deciding who's going to take care of your children. And even as important, when people do come in to do a will and they know who the guardian is who is going to take care of their money. So they need money to be raised, they need money for college, and all the things that you would support them for. And a 16-year-old should not have money in their hands to do this for themselves.
I have an 18-year-old, and she shouldn't have that.
No, in fact, we recommend trusts that a trustee could spend money on the child. until a proper responsible age. And it could be for college, a trip, anything that you would spend on. But the point being, somebody's in charge of the money.
Gotcha.
Some people think that 22 is a great age. It depends on the amount of money. Mm-hmm. The last thing you want is for somebody to receive their inheritance right after college and then think that they don't have to start and build a life.
Right.
Because they have a trust fund. So you want to give people the tools and empower them, but not sabotage them.
Right.
I did have a client that had cancer and had a niece he wanted to leave $3 million to. And she was 18. He just said, give it to her. And my recommendation was, no. What does an 18-year-old do with $3 million responsibly to help them build their lives? And the realization is people need help and support. Everybody does.
Yes.
And setting that up. Now, truthfully, people plan more or think about planning more when they're older and they see people around them running into crises. Unfortunately, it seems to be in our 40s and 50s that we see our parents struggling with physical ailments and care issues and dementia, early onset Alzheimer's. Many cases are in their 40s and 50s and upward from there, and caring for a loved one with Alzheimer's, you better have all the documents in place.
Yeah.
Or there's big problems down the line. But being a sandwich generation of being somebody in your 40s and 50s, taking care of an elderly parent, and maybe taking care of your own young children at the same time, you need the power. You need to know what to do, and there needs to be family conversations as to how things should be handled, which can be hard.
Yeah, that can be very difficult. And if you don't have those guidelines set up, forget it.
And if you are in your 70s or 80s, or I have many clients driving to my office fully capable in their 90s these days.
Yes.
It's never too late to plan. Or if you plan, check in on your plan. Because the cast of characters and the people that you've chosen today may not be the same in 3 to 5 years. So I don't think it's ever too late to plan. Mm-hmm. If you can plan before the crisis, along the way you'll have a more successful, lasting security and peace of mind in your life. And maybe nothing will ever happen, except, one day you'll be 102 and pass away in your sleep. That would be great. But
that's my plan. I'm hoping for that.
That's the plan, right. So, but even if we are, say we're at crisis, which many people come running into my office, it's still not too late to plan. There's some things we may have to use a court for. So that's the point of the power of attorney.
Okay.
Appointing somebody to handle your financial affairs. If you don't, the only way somebody can help you is to go to the guardianship court. This can be extremely expensive and time-consuming, and the judge and the attorneys absolutely will help you, but it is a very lengthy process and stressful that you don't need to do if you just get your documents in order.
Yep, so plan in advance. Mm-hmm. That's the lesson here. You are listening to Tower Talk Business Radio on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. My name is Ray Schwetz, along with Denise Boston Hill, and our guest today is Donna Stefans of the Stefans Law Group. All right, so, we've heard, I think, so much about how your services can be helpful to someone, how you need to really plan in advance, get those documents in order in advance. Now, your practice, you have a very holistic practice as well. So can you tell us a little bit about some of the other services and the other expertise that you have in-house?
So when we do a plan, a legal, estate, and elder law plan, you have to look at the tax ramifications of what you're doing. And right now, today, we are in the throes of tax season. People are coming in to get their income taxes done at our office.
Oy.
It's a fun time, tax season. And frankly, this year, many people are extremely nervous. The laws are changed. The rules are changed. The deductions we can take are extremely different. Mm-hmm. But there's still many things that we can do to take a little bit of the edge off the tax bite.
Okay. So that's good news.
Yes. So just even looking at your income tax return, we can see how you can make your life a little easier.
Okay.
We also do the income tax returns for trusts when we're working with asset protection trusts for long-term care and Medicaid planning. And so we can put the legal picture together with the tax picture. Also, the financial planning end of that, the way I see a legal plan is the legal plan is the skeletal structure, and the financial plan is what you layer onto that legal plan to make sure that all of your financial assets go the right way. Okay. So that is how we can look at the whole situation together. But later on, when we're looking at paying for care, whether you're going to be home getting custodial care, whether you want to enjoy a retirement lifestyle in an assisted living, which I think is a wonderful social model, or if you ever needed nursing home care, they're expensive.
Yeah.
And so how do you put all those pieces together? That is really the goal. Now, I have to say, we have an amazing team that works together in the different practices, but our team in the crisis is the geriatric care management team, including working with Medicaid and the asset protection stuff. But we also need to be very keen on the caregiver and supporting the caregiver. And many times we will pull together whole families and talk about that.
Okay. And
talk about, mom or dad really wants to take care of their spouse. They wouldn't dream of anybody else doing it. But there are many, many cases that the caregiver winds up needing more care or having, God forbid, a stroke or falling and breaking a hip, trying to care for the person in need.
Oh, wow.
And so there is a lot of emotional support in what we do in our office. So, we see many of our clients every year for their income tax return, and we like to talk about and checking in. So it's like your annual physician checkup.
Right.
How are things going with everything?
Yes.
And encouraging people to bring their parents in or work on their own plans together as a team.
Right.
So it's really family planning. And working with Marilyn Stefans, my mom, we've created a great partnership. And we really do say it's our family helping your family through the journey of life. And we do it ourselves. So, we enjoy working with people. And that's what motivates me every day.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's what keeps us motivated. Helping people through a time that can be difficult. Helping people, take away some of their tears and stress. We can't take away the pain of somebody, getting hurt or losing a loved one, but we can help them through the process so they can start to heal, to make sure that everybody's safe and cared for, and take the pressure off to help them have success for themselves and their loved ones.
That's excellent. Now, how can someone find you? How is it best to contact you?
So, we have our website, which is www.stefanslawgroup.com, or you can call us at 516-692-2744. And we'd love to hear from you. We'd be happy to just go over your situation and to see where your plan is working, where your plan is not working, and keep you in the driver's seat. Keep you in control of the decision making for your life, because truthfully, nobody can make a better decision for you and your loved ones than you.
Excellent advice. We want to thank you for being with us. Donna, thank you for being on the show today. My name is Ray Schwetz, along with Denisha Boston Hill, your co-hosts and producers. The creative director of Tower Talk Business Radio is Rudy Breedy. This is an NCC Foundation Business Leaders Council production. Visit ncc.edu/WHPC for more information. Available on iHeartRadio as a podcast on iTunes, Android Podcasts, and Spreaker. This has been Tower Talk Business Radio, powered by the Nassau Community College Foundation on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. We'll talk with you next week.